Here we are going to have a look at how to convert decimal numbers to a fraction. Okay, so one thing is that here we are not interested in the number or the name of what the thing, but rather the image behind that. Okay, this is a real number system. So let's check that. This is what we call a decimal. Okay, when you see somebody like this, like something point something and so on and so forth, is what we call a decimal, right? That is the name of this guy. What about this one? This is a fraction. So fraction is always maybe one thing on top of the other, right? The numbers are, it can be integers, right? Something of that nature. So if you don't know integers, integers are just 1 2 3 4 and then -1, -2 and so on, including 0. Is that okay? But here the down number cannot be 0. The reason is that if you have a certain thing, you cannot choose to give that thing to nobody. Like if you, so far as you want to share it, then here there must be a human being here, right? There must be a number below here so that you can share whatever you are having to that person. That is why we are saying that down here cannot be 0. Is that okay? So that is very simple. Now let's see how to convert from the decimal to that. The reason why is it that this is so important? But sometimes in calculations, is that okay? Sometimes it's very difficult to do this calculation, but here we have a lay down procedure that you can follow to tackle that. So let's see, this is the decimal number, something, this is what we call a decimal. I've already explained who is a decimal, or maybe a number, point, something, whatever you have a point and so on, and that is what we call a decimal. So fraction looks like something on top of the other. So how can you convert this decimal to a fraction? That is the most important thing. So technically or by mathematics definition, after the point when you are ready in terms of what, tens, or maybe let's say tenth, right? Tenth and then hundredth, right? This is just the technical definition, right? So this first one, the first number that comes after the decimal point is what we call a tenth, and then followed by and so on and so forth, hundredth, thousandth, and so on and so forth. Is that okay? That's the name. So don't worry, if this thing will worry you, don't worry about the technical definition. There's a simple way of doing that. So let's see. So of course this will be the tenth. Is that okay? Meaning that this number is what? It will be 3. Here will be what? 3. Where are you? Where are you? Who is here? Tenth is here. Is that okay? So this one tells you that this will give me 3/10, right? Since this is tenth, right? So let assume you are not okay with the technical terms and the definition. So what do? You have to, you see, always the number, you just write the number on top here and then divide that by, bring your 1, your standby 1, right? This standby 1, the idea is that we cannot divide by 0. Is that okay? We cannot divide by any 0 number, so that is why I brought the 1 by assumption. Well, if it makes sense, fine. If it doesn't make sense, then leave everything for the advanced mathematician, whereby they can apply the theory in their daily lives. Is that okay? So this is tenth, hundredth, and so on and so forth. So as I said earlier, if you are not okay with this, just write any number, all the numbers after the decimal point. This is what you call the decimal point. So after the decimal point, the numbers that follow, just write them down, and then bring your 1 down. This will be your starting point, and then count, right? Just move this point to this side. So how many steps have you taken? Just 1 step, then you add 0 to that. Is that okay? So this one will be what? 3/10, right? So this is how you convert this type of this into a fraction. So what will happen if I have 0.10? Is that okay? How can you convert this one to fraction? So this will just be what? As I said earlier, this will be 310, right? At the top, the number just after the decimal point. Then over what? Have your standby 1. Then keep on moving. Move the point here. So the point will be a 1, 2, and then 3. Is that okay? So how many steps have you taken? 1, 2, 3, right? So so this is how you convert this one. Then if there's a need for you to reduce it to the lowest form, then you can do that very quickly, right? That is very simple. So what about this? What about, so the first 2 examples that we saw, so where you have a 0 point, right? You have a 0 point. So what will happen if there's a number before the point, right? How do you do that? How do you convert that? So over here, the way of doing this is that this is the whole number, right? The first one, the first number before the decimal point is just a whole. If you don't know a whole number it's on its own, right? It doesn't attach itself to anybody, right? It's okay. It's a whole number. So 4 is a whole number, 40 is a whole number, 401 is a whole number, something like this is not a whole number, right? This is a fraction, so something like this is a fraction or a rational. Okay, so when you say a whole number, if you have a number before the decimal point, that is what we call a whole number. So to convert this in, this will give me 3 as a sambai, which will be the whole number plus. Now you see that this guy just tends to be 0 because we've already brought the 3 out. So here we are left with 0. So we know how to convert 0.01, sorry, 0.01. You know how to convert this to that. So how do you convert that? We know, as usual, this will give me plus 0.1 on top. Then you have your 1 at the standby 1. Then take your step 1, 2, right? So this will give you 0. Of course, 0, 1 is the same as 1. So this will be 3 plus 1 over 100. Is that okay? Then you know how to do this, right? This one, you know how to convert this. Is that okay? This is just a fraction, whereby you find the LCM, then you move on, right? So very simple. So this is how you convert the decimal to a fraction. Now, of course, this is what we call terminating decimal. Don't let the technical term of mathematics just scare you. Is that okay? Rather, you find the image behind the name, right? So that is exactly what we do on this channel. So if you are enjoying, don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube. Just hit the red button down there and then smash the like button, and then let's move on. Now, the next one is what? Recurring decimal. So who is a recurring decimal? We are not interested in this name, is that okay? But we are interested in the image behind the name, right? So look at this thing. Look at this somehow horrible thing. This is 0.2. There's another point on top. What does it mean? The meaning behind the thing is the most important thing. So what this thing means is that this symbol tells us that the 2 keeps on what? Repeating itself. Is that okay? It keeps on repeating itself and so on and so forth. So you can see I have a 3 dots over. It means that the 2 are continuous. So this one gives you 0.22222 and so on. That is what it means. So the second one, you have a 0.12. Then there's some 2 dots on top, meaning that 1 and 2 keeps on repeating themselves, right? They keep on repeating themselves and so on. So 0.1212121212 up to infinity. So when it happens like this, that is what we call recurring decimal. Now the aim is that how can you convert this thing to a fraction? Is that okay? That is the most important. How do you get this horrible thing? They say you should convert this one to a fraction. So the idea, this is how you do it. So you believe that in mathematics there's a law in everything. So you just have to obey the law and know how to apply it. That is the reason why you need to subscribe to the channel now, right? So anytime you post a content like this, you'll be able to be notified. Now let's go on. How do you solve this? So you see, we cannot convert this, unlike the case where you have a terminating. So what I mean by the terminating, the number after the decimal point terminates, it ends, right? It ends. So in this case, now we know how to convert this. But what about this one? So this is how you do it, right? Just pay attention. This is just a law, right? Pay attention to the law. The law says that if you have, now let me choose the first part, right? So I'm going to convert this guy here, right? I'm going to convert this guy to a fraction. So now you know what a fraction, or to a rational number, right? You know what to do that. So now let's check. So the first step is that you let anything. What I mean by anything, any variable. What I mean by any variable, you see this, I'm just bringing this thing because I want to name it. Okay, I want to name what I want to convert. So this is what I'm converting to, what? A fraction. So let me name that. The reason is that this guy, he doesn't have an n, so I want to bring in something that I know how to solve. Is that okay? So let the x, I'm using the x. You can use any variable. No, there's no restriction in this one, so you can just go for any letter. So here in this case I'm using x. So let x be equal to what I want to convert. So this is what I want to convert to 0.22222 and so on and so forth. What will happen? So now we are multiplying the equation, this equation 1 by 10. Why are we multiplying it by 10? The reason is that let's assume I gave you a certain amount of money, right? So let's check something. So assuming I gave you a certain amount of money over here. So let's say that money is 5, and then I gave your brother also maybe 2, depending on the currency. So whatever currency you are in watching me right now, you can add that to it. So 5, and then let's say there's another person came, then multiply yours by 10, then multiply your brother's one also by 10. You guys still have the same amount, right? What I mean by the same amount here, your value is the same, his or her own value is still the same. Is that okay? So perfect. Now back to this point. So when I multiply the equation 1 by 10, so we are multiplying this equation by 10, right? This is what we call equation. So meaning we are multiplying the left hand side by 10, then we are multiplying the right hand side by 10. So when I multiply here by 10, that will give me 10x. Can you see that? And then when I multiply the right hand side by 10, this point will just move to the right hand side by one step because it's just 10, right? If it is 100, it will go by 2, right? So by here we are dealing with 10, so we are just moving this point to 1 point. So that is what 2.2222. So obviously the numbers keep on repeating themselves. Is that okay? Still the value is the same here. So what you are going to get, 10x is equal to 2.2222. So the repeating continues because the 2 is what, up to infinity, it continues. So I'm having 10x is equal to 2.2222. So now your next step is to subtract, right? You are going to subtract the two equations. So this one gives me one equation, this one also gives me another equation. So equation 2, equation 1. Is that okay? So very simple. Now you just need to subtract. You subtract the left hand side by the left hand side, and then the right hand side by the right hand side. So equation 2 minus what, equation 1. Is that okay? So this one will give me 10x minus what, x, right? So you are here, the left hand side, and then the right hand side, the right hand side. So that will be that, and then this will be equal to, what about the right hand side? So the equation 2, that will be 2.222, and then minus what, 0.222. Obviously it's continuous, everything continuous. So when you keep on doing like this, then you arrive at this 10x minus x. That will give me 9x, right? Can you see that? And then what will happen? This minus that, everything here will cancel out, right? Everything after the decimal point. That is the main reason why we are multiplying. Is that okay? So here will just be equal to 2. Right? Can you see that? So 2 minus 0, that will give me 2. So here will be 2.00000. So 00, we don't consider that. So anything after that is just 000. Right? So now your new equation will be 9x. 9x is equal to 2. So what do? You divide this one by 9, right? You divide here by 9, and then you divide here by 9. So this and that guy goes away. So x is equal to 9 over 2. So this 9 over 2 here is the answer to that recurring decimals. Is that okay? So this is how you convert the recurring decimal. So this is what we call a recurring. The number keep on repeating is a reoccurring. They keep on repeating itself severally. Is that okay? So you may consider trying this one, right? Just try this and give the answer in the comment down below. Okay, but the focus here is that you have to make sure that when you multiply, then the numbers that keep on repeating itself is on the right hand side. Okay, so thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, give us a thumbs up, like us, and then subscribe to our YouTube channel for more details about it.